You know those moments when you hear something and it just clicks? Like a switch flips in your brain and suddenly you see things differently. That's exactly what I want for you today. I'm about to share 5 key mindset shifts that will completely change the way you approach your goals. These are not just random pieces of advice, these are the things that separate people who stay stuck from the ones who actually move forward. If you apply them and let them guide your decisions, you will start to see a real difference in how you show up, how you take action, and how you push past the moments when motivation fades and doubt creeps in. So, if you have ever felt like you are spinning your wheels, wondering why things are not working the way you want them to, this episode is for you. Welcome to At What Point, the podcast where we dive into the real, raw, and rewarding journey of personal and professional growth. I'm Catherine, your host, here to guide you through mindset shifts, powerful aha moments, and the resilience it takes to thrive no matter what life throws your way. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, taking the leap into entrepreneurship, or just looking for that boost of motivation, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. So let's start with the first mindset shift. Follow your plan, not your mood. This right here is what separates the people who make progress from the people who stay stuck. Because let's be real, motivation is flaky. It's unreliable. Some days you wake up feeling inspired, ready to take the world. Other days, you'd rather stay under a blanket, scroll on your phone, and pretend your to-do list doesn't exist. And if you're waiting to feel like doing the work, you're going to stay stuck for a long time. I want you to think about it. How many times you have told yourself, I will do it later, only for later to turn into next week, next month, maybe next year? How often have you started something with so much energy only to let it fizzle out the second things got inconvenient or uncomfortable? And then when you look back, friend, you are frustrated with yourself because you know what you should have done, but you let a bad mood, a busy day, or a lack of motivation get in the way. And that's why having a plan, it's everything. A clear, structured plan keeps you on track even when your mood tries to pull you in another direction. It removes the need to decide every single day whether you feel like doing something because the decision was already made when you created the plan. When you commit to the plan instead of the emotion of the moment, you build consistency. And consistency, well, that's where the results come from. Now, you might be asking, but Catherine, how do I create a plan that actually works? Because let's be honest, most people don't fail because they don't have goals. They fail because they don't have a system to follow when motivation fades. So here's my 5 step roadmap to help you create a plan that keeps you on track, even on the days when you don't feel like showing up. Ready? Let's dive in. Number 1, get crystal clear on your goal. Vague goals lead to vague results. So instead of saying, I want to grow my business, or I want to get healthier, or I want to get a job, be specific. What does success actually look like? Is it signing 3 new clients in the next 60 days? Maybe losing 10 pounds by summer, or finding a new job by the end of the year? The more specific your goal, the easier it is to build a plan. Number 2, reverse engineer your outcome. Once you know what you want, break it down. Ask yourself, what are the key actions that will get me there? If you want, for example, to land more clients, that might be improving your sales process or showing up consistently on social media or reaching out to potential leads. If you want, for example, to get healthier, maybe it could be meal prepping, hitting the gym 3 times a week, or something as simple as drinking more water. I want you to take your big goal and turn it into small and manageable steps. Number 3, and this is my favorite, schedule it like a non negotiable appointment. I want you to think about it carefully. If you, for example, had a doctor's appointment, you will not just hope you find time to go. You had to schedule it, show up, and prioritize it. Well, friend, your goals deserve the same level of commitment. Block out time on your calendar for the actions that move you forward. Whether it's 30 minutes a day or a few dedicated hours a week, consistency matters more than intensity. Number four, anticipate roadblocks and plan for them. Let's be real. Life happens. There will be distractions, tough days, and unexpected challenges. So instead of letting these things throw you off course, prepare for them in advance. I want you to ask yourself, what's likely to get in my way? If you know, for example, you struggle with distractions, set boundaries. If you know you tend to procrastinate, set deadlines with accountability. The more you anticipate obstacles, the easier it is to push through them. Number five, track your progress and adjust as needed. A plan is not set in stone, it's only a guide. So check in with yourself. What's working? What's not? If something is not getting you the results you expected, don't quit, adjust. Successful people don't stick to a broken plan, they pivot when necessary. So keep moving forward, making small improvements along the way. The key here, follow the plan, not your mood. Your emotions will try to talk you out of showing up. Your excuses will try to convince you to wait until later. But if you stick to the structure you have built, momentum will carry you forward even on the hardest days. Now, this next mindset shift stings a little. When you are not changing, you're choosing. Let that sink in. If there is something in your life that is not working and you are not actively changing it, then on some level, you are choosing to keep it. And I know that's hard to hear. It was hard for me when I first realized it. But the moment you take responsibility for your choices, that's when you get your power back. Because here's the thing, change is always an option, always. But too many times we convince ourselves that we are stuck when really we are just avoiding the discomfort of change. We stay in jobs that drain us because we are afraid of starting over. We hold on to relationships that no longer serve us because we are scared to be alone. We keep repeating the same patterns, following the same routines, telling ourselves this is just how things are. But is it? Or is just what we are tolerating? Let's be real. Staying in your comfort zone is easy. It's familiar. It doesn't ask much of you. But let me ask you this. If nothing changed in your life for the next 5 years, will you be happy? Will you be proud of where you are? If that questions make you uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is telling you something, is reminding you that you have a choice. Because if you don't change, nothing is going to change. Growth is not something that magically happens. It's something you create by making different choices, even when it's scary, even when it's inconvenient, even when you don't feel ready. And I promise you, the discomfort of growth is nothing compared to the regret of staying stuck. And speaking of staying stuck, one of the biggest things that holds people back is this idea that they need everyone's approval. Let me say this as clearly as I can. You don't. You do not need a permission slip from the world to go after what you want. You don't need validation from your parents, your partner, your friends, or your coworkers to chase a life that excites you. And for sure, you don't need everyone to understand your vision. Here's the truth. Some people won't get it. Some people will doubt you, criticize you, and question your decisions. And not because you are wrong, but because they have never had the courage to do what you are doing. They will project their own fears onto you, telling you all the reasons they won't take the leap. And if you are not careful, you will start believing them. And that's how people get stuck. Not because they are not capable, not because they don't have what it takes, but because they have spent their whole lives making choices based on other people's discomfort, not their own fulfillment. So, let me ask you something. Whose life are you actually living? Everybody says life is short, but you know what? Life can also be really long, especially when you are spending it trapped in a reality that is not yours. When you are waking up every morning following a path someone else's picked for you are not gonna be happy. When you are shrinking yourself, second guessing every decision, afraid to disappoint people who don't even have to live with the consequences of your choices, you are not going to be happy. You have one life, one. And at the end of the day, you are the only person who has to live with the choices you make. So instead of worrying about approval, shift your focus to alignment. Are you aligned with your values, with your goals, with the kind of life you want to create? Because if the answer is yes, then you are on the right path, regardless of who agrees with you. And that brings me to this last mindset shift. And I need you to really hear this. Your life is a reflection of your standards. Raise them. Your relationships, your career, your health, your happiness. Every single part of your life is a direct result of what you have decided is acceptable. If you expect the bare minimum from yourself, from others, from your environment, that's exactly what you will get. But when you decide that you deserve better, when you raise your standards for what you accept and what you expect, everything changes. And I know this is not easy. Raising your standards means breaking all patterns. It means letting go of excuses. It means walking away from things that feel familiar but no longer serves you. It's uncomfortable because for so many of us, settling feels safe. We have been conditioned to believe that asking for more, demanding more is too much. That wanting better means we are ungrateful. That raising our standards will push people away. And you know what? Sometimes it will. When you decide you are no longer okay with toxic friendships, you will lose some people. When you decide you won't tolerate a disrespectful workplace, you might have to walk away from a job. When you decide to set boundaries and demand the respect you deserve, you will make people uncomfortable. But here's what is even more uncomfortable: staying in situations that drain you, belittle you, and hold you back. Because the truth is, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. And if you continue accepting less than what you deserve, that's exactly what you will keep getting. And this applies to everything: the way you take care of yourself, the way you let people treat you, the way you show up for your goals. If you want to see a different result, you have to raise the standards. Demand more from yourself. Set boundaries. Expect excellence, not in some unrealistic, perfectionist way, but in a way that says, I refuse to settle for less than what I'm capable of. Because when you raise your standards, you elevate your entire life. And the people, opportunities, and success you truly want, they will rise to meet you, because your future is not something that just happens to you. It's something you build piece by piece, choice by choice. And it all starts with the standards you set today. So let me ask you, at what point will you stop waiting for fear to fade and move forward anyway? When will you stop letting your mood decide your progress and start following the plan? At what point will you stop settling for what's familiar and start demanding what you truly deserve? Because the moment you stop waiting, the moment you decide to step into the version of you who takes action instead of overthinking, who chooses growth over comfort, who sets the standard instead of lowering it to fit in, that's the moment your life starts to change. And I promise you, you are more capable than you even realize. So go, do the thing, take the step, raise the bar. Your future is waiting. Now it's up to you to claim it. Thanks for joining another episode of At What Point. I hope today's conversation sparked some inspiration for your journey of growth and transformation. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to visit katherinebeltran.com/podcast for show notes, special discounts on coaching packages, and freebies to help you keep moving forward. And last but not least, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a show. See you next time.